It is possible to be happy even when nothing comes out as you expected, when you lose, when it hurts, when life seems to have no answers. In a changing world, fast and sometimes without warning, there is who have found a peace that does not depend on the circumstances, a silent bliss, deep, stable. It's not a magic formula, it's wisdom ancient, it's Buddhism applied to life real. Today I'm going to reveal 10 teachings to you Buddhists who can help you be happy in any situation, even in those who used to steal from you peace. And I assure you something, if the you listen with the heart open, you could see your life with others' eyes. Remember, the happiness is not always noisy. Sometimes it's just the peace of knowing that you're exactly where you need to be. If you're here, it's for a reason. Thank you for being part of this community conscious. Let's get started. Teaching 1. Everything that arises also pass. This is one of the more teachings powerful of the Buddha, and paradoxically, of the most forgotten, in half, from chaos every day. Everything that arises in your life, an emotion, a situation, a loss, a joy, a mental storm is impermanent. Nothing lasts forever, nor pain, nor euphoria, nor the night more dark, nor the lightest intense. Life is like the water. It is moves, transforms, flows. The suffering appears when we want it to. We stop when you are crossing a difficult moment, a breakup, a crisis internal, a loss. This teaching does not seek to minimize your pain, but remind you that you are not your pain, that you are feeling something temporary, although now it seems eternal. A disciple crying, you asked the teacher, when this will happen, suffering that I feel. And the teacher, meanwhile served tea, replied, when stop resisting it, and it you cross with consciousness, everything also arises. It happens, and that's the key. Go through, don't evade, feel, don't repress, observe, not to cling. Impermanence is not a punishment, it's a blessing. It reminds us that every moment is unique, that nothing can repeat itself the same, that even this moment, the one you are living now same, it is unrepeatable and sacred. Now reflect on what emotion you are holding back, believing that it will never happen, will go. And if you just looked at her as a cloud in the sky, knowing that also will pass. Every time life becomes difficult, remember this teaching as a mantra. This also will pass. And every time live something beautiful, also remember, this also will pass. That's why I am more deeply grateful while this here. Teaching 2. Suffering is born of the attachment. This teaching is one of the pillars of Buddhism and perhaps one of the more challenging to accept because we directly confronts the root of our pain. Suffering, according to the Buddha, no comes as much from what happens to us, but of our resistance to things change, that people leave, to that life does not accommodate our needs, expectations. We do not suffer because we lose something. We suffer because we cling to the fact that it should to stay. Attachment is not the same as love. You can love from the freedom, but attachment is born of the fear. Fear to the loss, emptiness, change. Being without that something or someone you believe in, need to be happy. A novice monk held in his hands a ceramic cup that there was given to him by his teacher. He valued her deeply. One day, without meaning to let fall, it broke into 1,000 pieces. With tears in the eyes, went to see the teacher and said, it broke what most loved him. The teacher, he answered with softness, so you didn't love the cup, you loved the illusion that always would be with you. Attachment is that illusion of permanence in a world where everything changes. And when we don't understand this, every change tears us apart, every loss breaks us, every ending feels like a punishment. But when we practice detachment, not as coldness, but as wisdom, we stop suffering for what inevitable, and we begin to love more presence, more gratitude, more freedom. Ask yourself what you are holding onto today with fear of lose it. Could you love without need to control? Could you let go with gratitude, rather pain? Because detachment does not mean that you don't care, it means that you have stopped living with fear, and that is a deep form of peace. Whatever it is, come on, leave it come. What remains, let it be. What goes, away, let it be. Go. Teaching 3. Peace comes from inside, in a world that lives towards outside. This Buddhist teaching is an act of silent rebellion and wisdom. We seek peace in the external conditions, in he success, in relationships, in the approval, in he control. We think, when everything is good there outside, then I will be fine here inside. But Buddhism says clearly, it is not outside where you will find calm, it is inside you. And if you do not cultivate it there, nothing external will be able to give it to you, neither take it off. Peace is not found, it is cultivated, and like everything valuable, it is born in his silence. A disciple told him, asked the teacher, where I must go to find peace. The teacher replied, close the eyes, listen to your breathing, there starts he way. But what if outside everything is in chaos? So, more than never stay inside. Your interior is like a temple, but if do not inhabit it, the noise of the world converts in your home. Many people lose his energy trying to change it that is out, people, circumstances, environments. But when you turn on the light inside you, you stop depend on the clarity of the others, and that is peace, not the absence of problems, but the presence of consciousness, still in half of the noise. Where you have been looking for your peace lately, how much interior space you give yourself a day to simply be with you? What if you stopped running away of the silence, and you will begin to hear yourself from there, just as the ocean remains serene in his background, still when in the surface there is a storm, so also your peace not must depend on the external waves. The true spirituality does not look for escape from the world, but inhabit it from a firm, clear, silent center, and that center is you. Teaching 4. What you think you convert. This teaching of the Buddha? No, it is a metaphor. It is a spiritual law, a statement so direct as powerful. All we are is the result of what we have thought. Every thought you hold, consciously or unconsciously, it is like a drop that falls again and again on the rock of your mind until it is molded. With heat time, these drops form furrows, roads, and without give you account. Those paths mental come your way of life. If your internal dialogue is full of fear, judgment, or doubt, that's what you project to the world. If your mind is trained in the gratitude, presence, and the compassion, that's what you expand from your aura. Your thoughts not only create your reality, they create the type of person who you are being in that reality. A disciple complained constantly from his bad good luck. The teacher told him, he said, all that, what happens to you, is the harvest of your thoughts from yesterday. And what I can do, so, plant seeds, new. Each thought you repeat is a seed. You are going to sow fear or wisdom. The mind is a garden, but you decide what water. Seeds. In Buddhism, train the mind is the path toward the liberation. That's why we meditate. Mantras are repeated. It is cultivated the attention full, because an unobserved mind is converts in a prison, but a mind trained is a temple living. What thoughts you are repeating every day without give you account? Do they talk to you with love or with criticism? Do they expand or contract you? Feel something enough, and it will convert in your belief. Think of something enough, and it will become in your destiny. It's not about thinking positively all the time. It's about thinking with consciousness, to choose thoughts that reflect your highest truth, and remember that every mental word is a silent decree that shapes your energy. So the next time you think, remember, you are sculpting what you will be tomorrow. Lesson 5. The now is the only one you have in a society that lives trapped between the nostalgia of past and the anxiety of the future. This teaching is an urgent call to wake up. The mind jumps, the soul number. The soul only inhabits one place, the now. We think that life happens later when we achieve what we want, or what already passed when we lost that which we loved. But in reality, life alone, it happens here, in this moment. And yet, how many times are you really present? In how many conversations you are completely? In how many breaths have you really felt that you are alive? A wise man he asked his disciple, "Where are you now sane?" "Here, teacher." "And your mind, thinking about which I will do after." The teacher smiled and said, "So, you're not here. And if you're not here, where is your life?" The attention-full, osati, as they say in Pali, is one of the foundations of path spiritual. The Buddha taught that true release is born when we bring the awareness in the present moment, without flee, without escaping, without judge, because in he now, there is no blame on the past, neither fear of the future. There is only life as it is. Being present is not a technique, it is an act of love. It is telling your soul, "I see you, I'm with you, I'm not running anymore." Where is your mind? At the moment, what part of you still lives, trapped in a yesterday that no longer exists? What life are you living, putting it off, waiting for it to arrive? The moment perfect, the only certainty, is this instant, and if you learn to inhabit it, you will discover that here already, there is peace. Now there is guide. Already, there is light. Yesterday already happened. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Only this breath is real. Only this silence is eternal. Teaching 6. Every being desires be happy. This truth, so simple already, once so powerful, is one of the deeper foundations of Buddhism. Behind every action, every decision, every search, there is a longing universal. Be happy, be at peace, feel complete, even those who do damage, even those they are wrong, even you in your more days dark. When the Buddha spoke of this teaching, not it made from logic, but from the compassion, because understand that everyone, without exception, they look for the happiness to your way, is the first step to dissolve the trial and open the heart. A disciple asked, "Master, how I can forgive someone who has hurt me, wounded the teacher?" He replied, "Ask yourself, what pain I had to carry inside to act so, and what I was desperately looking for that no knew how to ask." The disciple fell and understood. Most of the acts that we call bad are clumsy pleas of those who have not learned to love. Compassion is not weakness. It is the strength to see the soul behind the mask. It is to look with the heart, even when the eyes come threat. And this teaching invites you to something very deep. Before reacting, before judge, before closing, remember that being, just like you, only wants feel well. With who costs you more, connect from the compassion. And if you saw his suffering, rather his conduct, and if you understood that no, they know how to be happy, and that's why act as if they do. When you practice this look, your aura is cleansed, your mind is calmed, your soul expands, because compassion is not to justify, is to understand without contaminate you. Just like me, I wish to be happy and avoid suffering. So also all the beings. Teaching 7. You are responsible of your mind. The Buddha did not say that you will control the world. He said something else revolutionary. Take care of your mind. In she begin everything. We live in a reality where teaches us to hold responsible external by how we feel. Work, the couple, politics, the climate, the others. But Buddhism gives us a uncomfortable and liberating truth. At the same time, you are not guilty of everything what you think, but you are responsible for that you do with which you think. Because even if you don't choose your first emotions or reactions, yes, can choose feed them, or dissolve them, repeat them, or transform them. A disciple told him, asked his teacher, "Master, sometimes I have thoughts that I don't like them. Am I a bad person for it?" And the teacher replied, "Having thoughts are like they come clouds to heaven. But if you decide build them a house, then not anymore. They are just clouds. They are your responsibility. The untamed mind can become enslaved. The trained mind can become unwise, and train her not means to eliminate thoughts negatives, means not obeying them blindly. It means cultivating space, interior, between what you think and what you decide. Are you a slave to your thoughts or witness to them? Do you realize, count how many times your mind creates suffering due to interpretations, fears, or stories past? The mind is like a garden. Yes, if you don't take care of it, it will grow the weeds. But if you water with consciousness, if you nourish it with wisdom, a new way of living is flourishing. No, you are you thoughts, but you are the one guardian from the temple where they are born. And in that temple, you decide what is honored and what he release. Teaching 8. Gratitude transforms. In he heart of Buddhism, not only dwells, silence also inhabits a form of look at life with conscious gratitude. But it's not about giving thanks for courtesy. It is about recognizing the value sacred of the simple. Gratitude is not waiting to have it. Everything is to give you. Realize that it essential is already in you. When you train your mind to give thanks, even in half of the chaos or the loss, something profound changes. You are no longer a slave to what is lacking, but guardian of what exists. A monk I was walking with his disciple for a path mountain. They had been without talk. Upon reaching a clearing, the master stopped, looked his sky and said, "What we are lucky. We have air conditioning, the lungs, sky above us heads, and ground under your feet." The disciple, surprised, replied, "Is that enough?" And the teacher, he smiled, "It's more than enough. It's the basis of all happiness. The ego always looks what is missing. The grateful soul looks at that flourishes, even in the crack. And no, it is about denying the pain or struggle. It's about not allowing yourself to be blinded to the gifts that still you have. What are you overlooking today? Simply because has already become part of your routine. And if it, that now normal, flames out, in reality, a miracle constant. When you are grateful for what you already have there, you raise your frequency, you open your energy, and harmonize your aura. Gratitude, it is not an emotion passive. It is a force active capable of changing your state interior and your external reality. Give thanks before having. Give thanks even when it hurts. Be grateful as who? Water a flower that has not yet sprouted, because where there is gratitude, there is expansion, and where there is expansion is born the music transformation. Teaching 9. The change begins with you. Many seek to transform the world, but few stop to look inwards. The Buddha taught firmly, just as a candle cannot light another if it does not has call, you cannot transform it external without first illuminating your interior. We want more relationships, conscious, a fairer environment, a fuller life, but we keep repeating the themselves, thoughts, emotions, and decisions. We hope that the another, that the climate changes, that the luck, but nothing really changes until you change. A young disciple complained constantly from his family, their friends, your city, the teacher. I'm listening in silence. And then you handed over a mirror. What do you want it to be seen in he? Something different. Then you change. The reflection just return what you are. This teaching is not to blame you. It is to empower yourself. Because authentic change doesn't happen from the imposition, but from the coherence. When you heal a wound in you, you heal a part of the world. When you choose silence instead of screaming, you inspire calm in your environment. When you begin to live in truth, others begin to wonder for his lie. What are you waiting for to change? Outside, then in reality, has to begin inside you. That pattern you repeat while you blame the destiny. Every decision yours, however small that seems, generates an echo, and that echo converts in address, at destination, a legacy. You can't change. What you don't, you assume as your own, but when you assume it, you transform it. You are the first step, the center from where everything expands. And that's not just a great one. Responsibility is a blessing. Teaching 10. Be your own lamp. These were the latest words he spoke the Buddha before leave this physical world. They were not a dogma. They were not an order. They were an eternal guide. Be your own lamp. Be your own refuge. Don't look outside, which you can only turn on inside. And although this phrase may sound simple, it contains one of the most truths challenging the spiritual path. No one can wake up for you. No one can walk your path. No one can give you the light that you refuse to turn on. We live in an era where we look for quick answers, gurus, external solutions, but the true wisdom, it is not inherited, nor is it imitated. It is, remember, it is rediscovered. It is activated from inside. A young man monk I lived, frustrated because didn't found lightning despite continuing all the rituals. One day the teacher told him, he said, stop looking for the lamp perfect and realize that you are the one fire that the turns on. From that day, the monk stopped following formulas and began to listen deeply, and in that silence woke up. This teaching does not invite you to loneliness, but to the sovereignty interior, to stop depending on external validations, to turn on the torch of your consciousness, even when everything was this dark. How much of your light do you still have, searching in others? What part of you still wait for someone else to tell you which way to go? What true believe? What rhythm to follow? When you are your own lamp, no, you need applause to know you're going well. You don't need maps, because your soul becomes in compass. Don't follow the fingerprint of the teacher. Look for what I was looking for. And that's it. Wake up. Remember that the light is brighter, reliable. It is. Not outside, but in you center. Music. Being happy doesn't mean that everything is perfect. It means that you decide to be conscious, compassionate, and present in middle of it imperfect. And that is what Buddhism teaches, that the true happiness depends not on what is external, but on how you relate to which you live. If any of these teachings resonated with you, let in the comments which it was. Maybe when writing it, you will do part of your life. Share this video with someone who is passing through a difficult moment. It could be just the light that you need. And don't forget to subscribe and activate the little bell, because every week we share stories, practices, and wisdom that transforms. Happiness. True. I don't know. Search. Remember, cultivate, breathe, and remember still, in chaos, can bloom. See you in the next video. A hug of light.